In section 6.2, we'll look at polynomials of the form x squared plus bx plus c. For these polynomials, I'm going to use the diamond method. And so we'll look at example 1, x squared minus 8x minus 20. To factor this completely, I use the last term in the top of my x, and the middle term here, that b, is going to be used at the bottom. And I will find two numbers that multiplies to get negative 20, but add to get negative 8. And those two numbers are negative 10 and positive 2. Negative 10 times 2 is negative 20, and negative 10 plus 2 gives me negative 8. So this polynomial factors as x minus 10 and x plus 2. The 10 comes from here and the 2 comes from here. And that is the factored form of x squared minus 8x minus 20. For the next question, again, I'll use the 24 for the top of the x and the 12 for the bottom. What two numbers multiplies to get 24 but add up to get 12? Think about that for a moment. Let's make a list if we can't figure it out immediately. I know 1 times 24 is going to give us 24, but that doesn't work for our two numbers. 2 times what gives me 24? That's 2 times 12, and that does not work. And I'll use 3. 3 times 8 gives me 24, but it doesn't add up to get 12, so that doesn't work. 4 times 6 gives us 24, but that doesn't add up to get 12 either. 5 times nothing will work to get a 24. And 6 times 4 gives us 24, but we already have it. So these are the only possible options to multiply to get a 24. And none of these will add up to get a 12. So that means x squared plus 12x plus 24 is prime. We can't factor it. In the next example, let's put the negative 30 on top and the 13 on the bottom. What two numbers multiplies to get negative 30 but add up to get 13? Let's try 15 and 2. That does give us a positive 30, so to make it a negative 30, I will use a negative 2. 15 minus 2 does give me 13, which is great, and 15 times negative 2 does multiply to get negative 30. So these are the correct numbers to use. So to double check, it has to multiply to get the top number, but has to add to get the bottom number. And so this factors as x plus 15 times x minus 2. For the next example, we have 49 is going on top of our x and 14 on the bottom. What two numbers multiply to get 49 and add up to 14? That's 7 and 7. This factors as x plus 7 times an x plus 7. And we could write this with an exponent. This can be rewritten as x plus 7 squared. Let's try this again. I have 144 on the top, and that negative 24 is going on the bottom. What two numbers multiplies to get a positive 144, but still add up to get a negative 24? Well, they both have to be negative 12. So this factors as x minus 12 times x minus 12. And of course, we could rewrite this as x minus 12 squared. For the next example, we have a problem. We have a 5 that shows up in the front. There is a 35 and a 150. Always look to see if there's a GCF first. In this case, there is a GCF of 5. So we'll start by factoring that out before we use the diamond method. If I factor out the 5, I get left over x squared plus 7x minus a 30. And again, if I'm not sure, I can distribute this and you should get the original polynomial back, and we do. So since that 5 is factored, now we can use the diamond method. You can only use the diamond method if it's in this form, x squared plus bx plus c, and we have that form now. We put the negative 30 on top here and the 7 on the bottom. What two numbers multiplies to get negative 30 but add up to 7? Well, let me check. 1 times 30 doesn't work. 2 times 15 doesn't work. 3 times 10 doesn't work. Oh, actually it does work. We have a 3 and a 10 here. But it has to multiply to get negative 30, so we'll use a negative 3 here. Negative 3 plus 10 does add up to 7, so those are the correct numbers. So this factors as x minus 3 and x plus 10. But don't forget to bring down that 5 to the front. So our answer is 5 times x minus 3 times x plus 10. In this question, again, we have a GCF. It looks like the GCF is 9. Let's factor out the 9 from every single term. That gives me x squared here, and 126 divided by 9. That is a 14, so we'll write 14x. 432 divided by 9 is 48. Since the 9 is factored to the front, it leaves me with something I can use the diamond method with. Let's put the 48 on the top and the 14 on the bottom. Two numbers that multiply to get 48, but yet add up to get 14. What are those two numbers? And those two numbers are 6 and 8. 6 times 8 is 48, and 6 plus 8 is 14. This means we can factor this as x plus 6 times x plus 8. Don't forget, you can bring down that 9 to the front, and that's our answer. 9 times the quantity x plus 6 times the quantity x plus 8.